If you're new to editing, then you've probably realized just how time consuming it can be. As someone who's edited for over 8 years, there's often a whole bunch of mistakes that people make when they're just getting started. So I'm going to show you what they are and how to fix them fast. And if you're interested in more editing tutorials, then don't forget to subscribe. Okay, this first mistake applies particularly if you're creating talking head videos, essentially what I'm doing right now, and that is manually cutting up your talking head A-roll footage. So if you're a beginner, you might be familiar with the blade tool just here. And so what you might be doing to remove all these silences, or while you're having a drink of your coffee, is just going through your timeline and selecting the points that you want to delete, clicking, going back to your select tool, clicking, and then pressing delete. This is incredibly time consuming, and you can spend hours on a single clip of A-roll if it's a long recording. But let me show you 2 ways to speed this up. The first is with some keyboard shortcuts. This is one of my favorite keyboard shortcuts. I highly recommend it. That is Command B. So rather than manually clicking and selecting the blade tool and then click, 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 what I'm going to do is keep it on the select tool, but at any point that I want to make a cut, I'm just going to hit Command B, just like that. And as you can see, it instantly creates this cut. Then I can just go through and cut, 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 cut. This is like a test on how fast I can cut. And I can go through and really very quickly and efficiently, just like that, go and delete a whole bunch of silences. And then if I just hold down Control, I can go and select all of these different silences like so, and then hit delete or backspace, and bam, they're all gone. It's going to save me so much time just cutting out my A-roll. Now the second way is even faster. I personally use an app called Recut, which lets you load your raw A-roll file into it, and then it will just automatically cut out all the silences for you. And then all you have to do is load it into Final Cut Pro, select all the bad bits, just hit delete, and you're done. I'll leave a link in the description. I won't go too much into it in this video, but I do have other videos on my channel talking about Recut, so I highly recommend checking them out. Okay, mistake number 2 that I see a lot of beginners make ties directly to tip number 1, and that is just only using the mouse. Now you already saw me using my keyboard and my mouse in conjunction. I cannot stress this enough. I think when I first started editing videos, I kind of thought the keyboard shortcuts would maybe add 10% in speed, and it wasn't really worth the hassle of learning them. But trust me, after editing for years now, if I didn't use keyboard shortcuts, I don't think I would still be a creator, honestly, because it speeds up my workflow that much. I've already given you one keyboard shortcut. Another one is if you want to change tools, we've actually got the keyboard shortcuts listed here. So if I want to change to the blade tool, I can just hit B on the keyboard. That's going to bring up the blade tool. If I want to change back to the select tool, I just hit A, and that's going to go back to select. This is just scratching the surface of all the different shortcuts that you can learn in Final Cut Pro. And I've also got a free PDF cheat sheet that you can download in the description. And you can use this as a reference while you're editing your own projects. And it includes all of my personal favorite keyboard shortcuts that saves me hours for each edit. Okay, mistake number 3, and this is not organizing your project when you first get started editing. Now you might have already experienced in an edit like this one where there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I've got a whole bunch of different B-roll. If you're just importing this footage directly into your event, it's going to be all disorganized like this. And what you're probably doing is just going through and constantly searching for that perfect clip, having to scroll up and down, looking here and there. But if you set it up from the beginning, it's going to save you so much time. The way I like to do it is with keyword collections. So here you can see beneath my event, I've got a keyword collection called B-roll and then one called music. So if I click on these, as you can see, I've got all my music just in this one place. So when I'm focusing on my track and I want to hear previews of the different tracks that I've selected, I can go straight to my keyword collection and it's all here for me. Same with B-roll. I've got all my B-roll organized in this one single folder. Now I could create even more detailed folders. In order to make your own keyword collection, you just right click on the event, go new keyword collection, and then you can name it whatever you want. So let's go Pixel Watch. Now from here, you can organize the clips that you've already got in your event. So for example, I've got this clip of Pixel Watch. I can just drag and drop this into the Pixel Watch keyword collection. Now if I click here, it's just in this folder. You can do the same thing if you just drag any clips from your Finder. So here, let's say I want to put these particular clips into this Pixel Watch folder. I can just drag and drop them just like that. And now they are in this Pixel Watch keyword collection. They'll also still all appear in my overall event media viewer, but trust me, it's going to save you so much time when you're looking for that specific clip in that particular category. If you create these categories at the start and then input all your footage into the categories, it's going to be a huge help. Okay, this next mistake is one that I made for probably a year, and I'm sure it cost me hundreds of hours. And that is rewatching the same section of a video over and over as you edit it. And this is basically the result of not having a good process for your edits. So the way I used to edit would be that I would start watching through my video and I'd think, oh, I need some B-roll here. So I'd go and add a bunch of B-roll and I'd watch it back. And then I think, oh, nah, I need the music. I need the music to match the B-roll to the music. So I'd go and find a track and I'd add the track in. Then I'd think, oh, nah, the B-roll doesn't quite match the track now. So I have to change the B-roll. And then I'd go and change the B-roll. And then I'd think, oh, I want a title here. So I'd add a title. And I'd just jump around and spend hours and I might only edit like 20 seconds of my entire video. And this would basically happen throughout the entire project. I just edit a section at a time and I end up just rewatching this one section like 20 times. Now the system I came up with is basically a pass-based system. So what I do first is I edit my entire base. So I've got that base core A-roll structure ready to go. That's my first pass. In my second pass is adding my track. So I get music that I think suits each section of the video and then I'll add that in. The next pass, I add in my B-roll. So I've already got the music picked. I don't have to change it around and I can just instantly start to add that B-roll to match the music. And then finally from there, I'll add my graphics and transitions. So this includes any titles, anything like that, and then I'll export. And honestly, using a structured system like that saves me so much time. If you're keen to hear more about my system, I've actually got an online course. There's a link in the description. All right, the final mistake number 5 is exporting with the wrong settings. This can waste time because you can end up exporting with the wrong settings and then having to go back and either re-export, or it can actually cost you views because if it doesn't look right when you've uploaded it to YouTube or your social media, it can actually affect engagement. So it's really important to get it right. Now, what I used to do was I would just use the default export, like one of these Apple devices or something, but I didn't really know what I was doing. But what I recommend doing is creating a custom export, setting up the settings, and then you'll never have to think about it again. So just go add destination. From here, what I recommend is go export file. So double click on that. It's going to create a new preset here. So I'm actually going to name it YouTube export. You can obviously name it whatever you like. Make sure the format is set to video and audio under mastering. And then for video codec, select H.264. I won't explain too much about it here, but this is what I recommend. I've got other videos on it. Again, if you want to check them out, all the rest you can leave as default, and that is it. Now, anytime you want to export, go export, YouTube export. This will give you a reasonable file size. So for example, this is an 8-minute video and it's giving me a 3.61 gigabyte file, but it's not going to reduce your image quality and you're still going to get really sharp results on YouTube. So there you go. If you're a beginner editor, I really hope that helped. Don't forget to subscribe for more editing tutorials. And in the meantime, if you want more Final Cut Pro training, then I've got a whole playlist right here with heaps of videos that are already live.